Hey, listeners. My name is Elisha, the founder of the Witnesses podcast. It's so beautiful to have you listening to our podcast. And I want you to know something that means a whole lot to me. Thank you for tuning in. And one thing I love to tell all of our listeners is it's not just about you listening, but listening to understand. Understanding is the most important thing. So important. So you have to listen, learn, and practice. Thank you so very much and happy listening.
Hi, Carlos. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Great, fantastic. Starting the week with good mood. That's good.
Yeah, very good. That's very good. Okay, Carlos, oftentimes I love to talk about the essence of this show, which is to invite
Mhm.
amazing guests, amazing guests like Carlos to come talk to us about their triumphant stories. Because we believe that in our audience, there might be some people who are stuck up in a situation that you came out of triumphantly. So by those people getting to listen to you speak, they might actually pick some information from what you were saying here today, and that information might actually lead to their transformation. So
Mhm.
the show is basically to cause transformation in the lives of the audience. It's about transforming lives. All right, Carlos. So within the next few minutes, let us get started with your story, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. Then afterwards, I've got some really beautiful questions for you. Okay, Carlos, over to
Okay.
you.
Okay. So if you have a list of questions, I'm ready. I cannot hear you now. Hello.
Okay. Sorry, my bad. All right, I said before we dive into the questions, do you have maybe any stories about your work, personal life, or whatever adversity that you overcame? Maybe you could share that with us before we begin with the questions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, my life has characteristic of many changes, many changes. I mean, I will say changes that really move me to 180-degree of from the previous life. So I can say that beside if we have past life, I believe on that. In this life, I had past life as well. So many stories. I was born and raised in one country and having a, I would say, normal life. And in one moment, I decided to move to Europe and not for work. So I had to reinvent myself. I started from zero, from scratch. I came for personal reason because I was, to be honest, I came because of love. But then things were not so easy as I thought. So everything went upside down, completely upside down. And I was not a boy. I was quite grown up already. And I said, okay, Carlos, you have two choices. Or go back to your country and start crying, or start moving forward and looking for what to do. And I tell you, I went through, even though I already had a good, I mean, a normal life, a regular life, when I came to Europe was absolutely nothing. And I started from scratch. I started knocking doors, literally, and tried to find out something to do in my area. But in the end, I believe that I believe in synchronicity. I believe that we are not alone. And I was really looking for that kind of help from, let's call it the energy to guide me what to do. And I spent a few years that were, I would say, challenging to say the least, until I was able to find something to work on and to start developing me. That took years, but in my, I would say, philosophy of life is not giving up. There is always a way. And I love this saying in English: when there is a will, there is a way. I'm not saying that we can overcome everything, because that's not realistic. Sometimes life is very tough with us. But if it doesn't work, will never be because I didn't try enough. That's my philosophy. And trying again and again and again and again. And if it doesn't work, let's try the next day again. There is a way. And in another moment, I had the option. It was an odd job option, but again, that implied to change all my life, to move to another country. And then that was Canada. And I was even older, but I said, no. I hate to die with a what if. No way. I need to try. My philosophy in life is whatever opportunity life gives to you, the answer is always try, because I prefer to try and fail than not to try. So far was working with me, and so far every time I tried, something came up. And what really inspired me all the time is every time that I just push, that's the only thing I could do, many things unexpected start happening. I'm not talking about magic, I'm talking about the consequences of things that you cannot see, because our sight, our vision is too limited as a human being. What I mean is that we need just to, we can see the next step or few steps ahead, and that's it. And we need to walk, that was my way, to work with a quite open-minded state and to be attentive to what I call the signals in life. Signals are minimum details that only you can understand. But that you know that they belong to you. And that, if you ask me, Elijah, if you ask me, Carlos, were you able to plan your life? The answer is no. What I learned in my life is how to read these signs and signals, how to understand these messages that we receive from our environment, and then to understand what to do next. I don't know if it makes sense, or I'm explaining
Yeah, it
myself,
does,
Elijah.
it does, it does. I'm feeling you, Carlos. You know, it's getting really interesting, and I'm so glad that God made our path cross. Uh, within just few minutes that you started talking, I tell you, I'm learning a series of things already. Especially the signal part, that part you mentioned, signal, beautiful one. Okay, let us dive into the question, shall we?
Yeah, please.
All right. So, Carlos, I want you to talk to us about stress management. Stress management. Can you
Okay.
talk to us about it?
Mhm. Yes, of course. You know that stress is a very trendy word. I will say, even as a cliche, everybody talks about stress.
Yeah.
And what I like to transmit in what I do, that is teaching or helping people understand themselves better based on a practical way how the brain works. That's what I do. I like the first message I send to people is stress is normal. So there is a misunderstanding on the concept of stress. People take it always in a negative way. That is wrong, technically talking. Stress is a normal mechanism of our body to deal with the daily life. Without minimum level of stress, we cannot even get up from the bed in the morning. Stress is a series of, I would say, processes inside of the body that help us to deal with life. The problem is when it's too much, it's too intense, and we are not able to manage. The technical word is distress, but normally we use stress. It's okay. I will use stress as people do. And then I like to explain one thing as a basic one. Everybody talks about time management. We need to manage time because, I don't have time. And I'm stressed because I don't have time. And that is a basic contradiction. Time is a fixed factor. Time is fixed. Time doesn't change. We are aiming the wrong target. What the body does all the time, medically talking, is energy management. What the body does is to manage energy. There is even a technical word for that called allostasis, doesn't matter. That means how the body is balancing when I need more energy, when I can save energy, when I need to use more energy. That is a permanent process of the brain. The brain is always planning the near future to know how much energy we'll need to use and to know if we have that energy, and if we don't have it, to learn how to get and gain more energy. So stress management is mainly about keeping stress in the normal rate, let's say, that I can manage through a more conscious or mindful management of the energy of my body. Make sense?
Makes sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. Wow, really amazing. Okay, all right. The next one. Following our instinct. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Yeah.
advisable to follow our instinct?
I will change the word because normally we say following our instinct. I will call it better is following our intuitions or combining both. It's not the same. The word instinct can have two different connotations. A positive one, that is following what you feel. That's what you're saying, following your instinct, like a basic, driver and what to do. That's okay. But has a negative, no, it's not a negative, has a different definition. That is, the instinct is about basic reactions. Instinct is also connected with survival mechanism. Elijah, attack, fly away, or freeze. This is instinct. And when we are in the instinctual mode, we are not thinking, we are just trying to escape or trying to survive. But anyway, I understand, Elijah, what you said. Following your instinct, the real way to define is following your intuition. That wisdom that we have inside, all of us, based on our experiences mainly. But I want to clarify because it's a learning process. We need to learn how to identify intuition, so that wisdom, from instinct when I want to just escape. You know what I mean? Because survival mode is not always healthy, because when we feel fear or we feel under threat, then we move to survival mode. I need to escape from here. That is okay. It's useful, but sometimes we overreact. Intuition is about the wisdom to know what to do. I deal with many people, and some people, they learned better than others to decode that language from intuition. It's a language. And it's a language that is not coming from nowhere. Come from the experience of our experience and the experience of people. So it's everything that we have inside, organized in a good way, that can give us the response to a challenge like this. That's the intuition. We normally say following your instinct, but I would like to call it follow your intuition.
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh man, Carlos, I am really enjoying our conversation, I tell you, because your words are filled with incredible insight. You know, the way you're going to the root and breaking this stuff down,
Thanks a lot,
it's really
Elijah. Thank
amazing.
you.
It's really amazing. It's really amazing, I tell you. All right, so the second to the last question. Hmm, this has to do with our brains rather. Is it true, Carlos, that we have more than one brain?
I love your question, Elijah.
Thank you.
I will say like this: we have one body that includes the brains that works in as a whole, works as a whole, the body, you know. What I'm trying to say is the body, all the pieces of the body are intertwined, interconnected, and they influence each other all the time. They support each other all the time. So the body is I will say, one of the most perfect communities of different parts, of different beings, different cells, you know, and bodies and organs. I like to present the model of different brains to understand our different components and to recognize different characters that we have inside. We just talk about instinct. This is one character, you know. It's like that I like to represent it. I didn't invent it, of course, with one part of the brain that is very, very old, and it's called the reptilian brain. And this brain is in charge of emergencies and survival, but has characteristics that can save you, can help you, or can put you down if it's activated in the wrong moment. And you need to recognize the language. Intuition is another character that we have inside, represented by other brains, the other part of the brain, more the gut brains and certain part of the brain upstairs. But through evolution, here in the skull, we were adding brains, you know? I mean, we were not replacing brain. We were adding brains and communicating one with each other. Today, they are completely working in harmony. That's for sure. So it's called the let's say the integrated brain. But through evolution, there was a most primitive one, the reptilian, then the emotional, then the rational. We have neurons, brain cells in our heart. So our heart is very connected with our emotions. And we have a whole nerve system in our gut. And our digestive system and our mood and nerve system are very, very integrated. So going back to the beginning, we work as a whole, but we can see the pieces of the puzzle, how they each of them bring different components in the way we behave every day. What I try to stimulate in my clients and coaching on when I teach is, hey, listen, who is talking inside of you? Because depends who is talking will be the objective of your conversation. Now we see people talking to each other, but maybe they are fighting with each other because it's a reptilian brain conversation. So there's no solution. It's I win or I lose. But if it's the rational brain that will pull from positive emotions, then we can arrive to some good conclusions, good point, even being creative. Make sense, Elijah?
Makes a whole lot of sense. Amazing, I've got to clap for you. Beautiful. I love it. I love it, Carlos. Oh man. You know something? I think we have so much to talk about. So I feel like maybe I should host you again and again and again. You should just keep impacting this inside of us, I tell you. Okay, so Carlos, the very last question. Let's say there is one piece of advice you would like to give to the audience. What would that be? And let's say that there are someone's listening right now and felt like, oh man, I really need to reach out to Carlos, learn more about what he's doing and all of that. How can that be possible?
Okay, regarding the first one, I mean, it's hard to say. I don't like to give advice. I like to comment about what you're telling me, but not giving advice, But one advice will be, we are very powerful, but we need help and we need each other. The most important word, I think, in civilization is not fighting, is not to fight to be the best, is to collaborate in the best way. So if we need to learn something how to collaborate with each other, I don't want to be nice. It's just the only way we can survive. Collaboration is the most important word in business, in organization, and in daily life, even though we see people competing all the time with each other. But that takes resources and takes wisdom and takes everything away. The question is, what can I bring to the table, or what you can bring to the table that will help me? And then we can grow together. That is the goal from my perspective. So listen to your inner voices, because we have many inner voices, saying different things. Try to recognize and ask yourself again and again, what am I bringing to the table today? Because that's the way to interact better with myself and with others. How to connect with me? I mean, I have a website, carlosdavidovich.com, and also a LinkedIn profile. I mean, it's easy to connect and send messages. Those are the things, the most practical and direct way to connect. My website has a way to connect through emails, and I would be delighted to receive emails and to talk or to help whoever will like to have a conversation about the things I like the most about behavior, human behavior.
Beautiful, Carlos. Beautiful. Personally, I'm gonna stay in touch because I really enjoyed our conversation. Okay, that's gonna be the end of the show. Thank you for your time,
Okay.
Carlos. Thank you for honoring the invite. Thank you for coming. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
My pleasure, and thanks for the invitation. Delighted to be with you, Elijah. Ciao.
Thank you for tuning in to this incredible episode. Your support means the world to us, and we truly value you. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.